This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Hi, welcome to Business, Equity, and Opportunities. I'm Scott Sander. Those three words, business, equity, opportunities. Oxford English Dictionary lists several definitions for each of those, but for the purposes of this hour, business is an action which occupies time and demands attention and effort and refers to serious occupation or work as opposed to pleasure or recreation. Equity means the quality of being equal or fair or even-handed dealing. Opportunity is a good chance for advancement or progress. Here, we tell stories every day of people whose drive and effort paired with even-handedness create good chances for progress. We tell 7 stories each week, getting started, gaining access to capital, running your business day to day. We hear from regular contributors who cover the week in business and experts at managing money in accounting and bookkeeping. We have a weekly industry focus and wrap up things with an inspirational success story. We're here with a new show every Sunday on Wish TV and live streaming on wishtv.com. And we post all those 7 weekly segments from past shows on our website, BEOshow.com. Watch them, share them. Scan the QR code on your screen, it'll take you right there. While you're there, listen to the Business, Equity, and Opportunities podcast from the All Indiana Podcast Network and subscribe to our weekly newsletter. It changes every week as we update it on Tuesdays. Let's get to the business of business. Here's what's coming up on today's Business, Equity, and Opportunity. We observe National Women's Small Business Month and National Disability Employment Awareness Month. See how the Circle City Classic was a hit with entrepreneurs and those seeking investors. Shea returns for accounting and bookkeeping budgeting tips. And our industry focus is on the growing floral industry. Time to get started. October is National Women's Small Business Month. Until far too recently in American history, women faced limited rights when it came to business ownership and difficult access to resources, funding, tools needed to succeed. In 1988, the Women's Business Ownership Act passed, opening more doors. Our team visited Fort Wayne, Indiana to meet with Leslee Hill, director of the Women's Entrepreneurial Opportunity Center, which has landed awards from the Small Business Administration in the effort to help women get their small business dreams off the ground.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Getting started.
I am thrilled to host you here at the Northeast Indiana Innovation Center. And in this room in particular, we are in the WEOC Women's Business Center kind of war room. The NIIC, which is Northeast Indiana Innovation Center, has been around for just under 25 years. And about 2014, they started realizing that they were not seeing much diversity in the clientele they were serving. They looked around and they noticed that the SBA grant for women's business centers was coming up as an option. And they went ahead and applied for the sheer goal of serving more underserved individuals, which includes women. Through that grant, we target women, but we serve anyone throughout the 16 counties of Northeast Indiana. So we really provide services in 3 ways. The first one is coaching, and you can do that one-on-one coaching, or you can do that in group coaching. And one of the group coaching opportunities is an accelerator that we host. It's a 12-month weekly meetup for women in technology or who have online businesses. Another way is through masterminds, and that's where businesses get together, people from kind of the same stage, some a little ahead, some a little behind each other, and they work towards a common goal. The one-on-one coaching that we provide is very much project-based. So a client can come in and work on their finances, how to create a simple budget, how to look at cash flow for 1 to 3 years, look into financing, but we work on a lot of marketing techniques. And that seems to be the place where people would prefer to stay rather than sales, but we do push them pretty heavily into sales strategies and creating a sales plan. There's a lot of life coaches, business coaches, a lot of women that are tired of working for someone and they know they have the expertise, and so they go out on their own. So you could have marketing agencies, these kind of things. We also see quite a few brick and mortar locations and restaurants. We serve a large portion of Hispanics across the 16 counties. And many Hispanics start restaurants. They know there isn't good Colombian food, and so they're going to start a business for that. So it's really been fun to learn how different Hispanic groups cater to their eaters or to their families. So far, the majority of our clients, and I would say almost 100%, stay local. So we're helping the individuals who are creating their own job, essentially. And these individuals aren't looking to leave. They're looking to just have more time with their families. They're looking to do something that they're passionate about. It's more about lifestyle than growing something that's scalable. When I used to give talks, I had my own business, and I would have everyone raise their hands and say, how many of you have considered starting a business? And everyone's hands go up. Now, put your hands down, show me how many of you have actually gone into steps to start it, or even decide if you want to start this. Maybe one hand goes up. So the amount of people we serve, which tends to be about 1,000 individuals a year, of those, how many people get through that full discovery stage? That's surprising. And then knowing how much mindset holds individuals back. We all have these great ideas. We can even get into telling our friends, and they're all telling us this is a great idea. And then when it comes time to call on someone for sales, they stop. How do you even get someone on the phone? That's scary. So providing the tools for that, the 30-second commercials, how do you introduce yourself and not take 10 minutes trying to explain what you do? Then how do you get that first meeting? How, when you're in the meeting, do you kind of navigate the conversation so that you get the outcome, at least a next meeting, if it's not the actual sale? So giving them those tools and strategies, but then really it's practicing it. The more you say it, the more comfortable you feel, and those first few sales really legitimize someone. And as they work through them, they start to notice, oh my gosh, I spent so much time on that client. I don't want a client like that. Perfect. That's wonderful. How can we look at your processes to minimize the amount of time that you're actually spending with one client or customer? How much money are you spending on marketing to acquire that customer? So we kind of go deep, but just giving them the tools and the practice seems to shift their mindset. They just have to try it out. Then once it's all developed, work with them. You're co-creating this thing, and then go talk to people. It's the scariest thing. So my one piece of advice, just talk to people about your thing. I really enjoy the mentoring and the training aspect. We were just having a discussion internally about what made you apply for this job, whatever staff member it was. What made you apply for it? And I honestly liked every single bullet point that is on that job application. It was, you get to create your curriculum, you get to coach individuals and create a long-term relationship with them. You get to see them grow from whether it's being 3 years in business when they come to you and they're not making profit into 10 years and 15 years when they want to sell. So all of that rolled into one. I mean, I love my job.
Getting started, made possible by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation.
If you'd like more information about National Women's Small Business Month or any of our Getting Started stories, use the link on our website, beoshow.com. Quickest way during our broadcast is just to scan the QR code on your screen. If you have information that has helped you launch or operate your small business, tell us how you're doing. We'd like to share your story. The email is beo@wishtv.com. Coming up, Circle City Classic has come and gone. Ahead, how it created opportunities for small businesses and entrepreneurs during this year's run. This is Business Equity and Opportunity.
Grow your business with Wish TV's featured business directory. For less than $200 a month, be one of the limited businesses in 30 different categories, benefiting from one of the top visited websites in Indiana and Indiana's only statewide news station. Space is limited. Contact us today.
Welcome again. You've joined Business Equity and Opportunities. Thanks. Time for Access to Capital. The headline event of the Circle City Classic, of course, is an annual football game between two historically black colleges and universities. It has grown, though, to become far more than just about a game. It also brings small businesses, entrepreneurs, to the host city of Indianapolis for a chance to network and do a little business.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Access to Capital.
My name is Titi Obasanyo. I'm entrepreneur in residence at Elevate Ventures, focusing on the software and B2B SaaS verticals. And in addition to that, I spearhead an initiative called Elevate Me, Elevate Minority Entrepreneurs. It is our intentional effort towards supporting Black, brown, and female entrepreneurs, helping them access capital, simplifying what access to capital means, and helping them really overcome all the hurdles that might be in their path when they're thinking about raising venture capital. The energy here is amazing. You know, so many Black entrepreneurs coming together, opportunity to network, to see what people are working on, and you know, just really get plugged into the system and be that, have that opportunity to have a first-hand view of what Black and brown entrepreneurs are working on and be right there at the beginning when they need early stage funding. I think it all starts with, if you have figured out right what the problem is that you are solving and you understand what the clear path is to market and simplifying how you're going to get there, then access to capital is just one of the so many things that you need to do to succeed as an entrepreneur. So what I'm hoping to get today is really just hear what they're doing, how long they've been doing it, what challenges are they up against, how can I be a part of their story, and how can we provide the capital that they need to accelerate their business growth. I will speak from the venture capital lens because that's where I work. In 2021, in the VC landscape, it was all about growth, right? And then we had high interest, inflation, down market and whatnot. And venture capitalists are looking for entrepreneurs to define their or have a clear roadmap to profitability, right? And as opposed to growth in 2021, it's more like have a clear roadmap to profitability, double down on your growth, reduce the burn, make sure you're checking that customer acquisition cost, and you are monetizing every opportunity that you have to close a lead. At Elevate Ventures, for example, we typically invest in a TAM size of 500 plus million, right? Which shows, number one, that there is still room for a new competition, right? And it keeps growing, right? So when you understand that you're playing in the market that has room for new competition and the market continues to grow, which means there's always going to be demand, the problem is not going anywhere soon. The problem that you're solving for is not going anywhere soon. Solutions are being welcomed. I like to think about innovation from three perspectives: product innovation, process innovation, or business model innovation. So sometimes you might have people solving the problem with a product, right? But you as a new business owner, you come into the market, you come into the space, and you have a process innovation, simplifying how this can be done in quicker time. Or you refine the business model such that as opposed to paying monthly SaaS, people pay per year. And so there's innovation from three different lenses. And so back to your question, it's all about the market size, market opportunity, and understanding the go-to-market strategies that work for your particular solution or business. The fact that I get an opportunity to work with aspirational, early stage, even growing entrepreneurs is amazing, is a blessing. And I say that because sometimes entrepreneurs don't even know that they are heroes, that they wear a cape, that they are changing the world one person at a time, and they should be celebrated all of the time like we are doing today, right? And so the opportunity to have first-hand view of innovation, of invention is amazing. It's amazing.
After this break, we return to the Circle City Classic for Entrepreneur Day and talk to one entrepreneur who explains how much the event can mean to the small business community. Also later, Shea on accounting and bookkeeping, especially budgeting. More business equity and opportunities coming up in 95 seconds.
Radio and TV stations throughout Indiana are now hiring, and a statewide broadcasting career fair is coming up on Monday, October 2nd at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in downtown Indianapolis. Stations are filling jobs for journalists, sales, promotions, engineering, IT, and production. Make an impact that can be felt throughout your community. Your broadcast career starts here. Get details and register now at indianabroadcasters.org.
Welcome to Business Equity and Opportunities. Time to talk about the week in business. Wish TV and Business Equity and Opportunities are certainly congratulating the Indiana Black Expo and InnoPower on their successful Business and Entrepreneur Day, part of this year's Circle City Classic weekend. We were proud to be a media partner. We talked to some of the organizations making a difference and to one entrepreneur who explains how much that event can mean to the small business community.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. This Week in Business.
The platform of the Circle City Classic is very unique for our city, for our state. So many people come in town to visit us around the football game. But we know that there's so much energy around black businesses, black business support, and the entire black business ecosystem. So we wanted to bake that into the festivities and just the platform itself. So this year we decided to do an Entrepreneurship Day to celebrate organizations that are doing so much around entrepreneurship, to also celebrate business owners, so micro businesses, supply diversity, tech startups, and what we call the side hustles, right? But the optics of entrepreneurship and how do we affect behavior, how do we affect economic development, all of those things play a big role. People just have to see other people doing it. And also a big shout out to Wish TV and the BE&O show for the consistent promotion of entrepreneurship, right? That alone does so much for our community because people get to see that every week and it's not sporadic. So we're excited about the environment we have here in Indy, and we just wanted to leverage Indiana Black Expo, Circle City Classic as a platform to showcase that.
So I was actually in the IBE business training cohort, the last chapter they had. So I was second place, so I was invited back to the Entrepreneur Day to kind of network and talk to people and get my name out there a little bit. I jumped out of college and jumped right into being an entrepreneur. Had no idea what I was doing, no plan, and just kind of went into it. Graphic design has always been a niche for me. Something I've always done for like family and friends, and then I figured I could make it a business and make things cool for people and helping business brand themselves. It's huge because networking is key for everything. It's the #1 marketer in the world. You get to see people that you never get to on a daily basis and get your name out there and just have those conversations. Circle City Classic has always been huge, so to kind of mesh the two is always a mastermind idea. So I'm learning so much about what's in the city, even as far as businesses, and learning what people do. I'm able to kind of make those connections to build my network and build my business as well. It's been a day, seriously.
This is a great opportunity. IBE has been doing this for many years. We're excited for this opportunity here today, this Entrepreneurship Day. It really just celebrates, opens as far as with entrepreneurship in our city, the growth of the business entrepreneurs, what they're doing and the impact that they can have to helping us as far as to grow as a city. And it's been on the rise as it relates to entrepreneurship since COVID. But when you really think about the impact, the impact is what's really boosting our economy as a whole and the city of Indianapolis as a whole. Networking is so prominent to boost as far as, especially in that entrepreneurship world, connectivity. And that's why I'm so happy that organizations, so many multiple organizations, IBE, Mid-States, the Indy Black Chamber, so many more as far as that's coming together with this ecosystem, pulling those businesses that we know that we're helping to grow and develop, put them all into one room, because again, that networking, that connectivity, that's what's going to help them to boost and develop. When you think as it relates to, especially with our city and what's prominent and what's going on as far as with diversity and inclusion, it's amazing. You're seeing businesses from all over. You're seeing the Indy Chamber. You're seeing the Indy Black Chamber. You're seeing so many of these businesses coming from all walks of life coming together. And that diversity and that inclusion, it's huge. This is a community right now. When you're talking about entrepreneur, it's a community. And I think, opportunities like this where they can come into one, event as far as for, from suppliers, from diversity, it goes so far. We're a membership-based organization. We've been around since 2015. Our growth has been tremendous since that time. Right now we have 400 members within our portfolio. So what you're going to see down the road is more opportunity for access to capital, education, and finance, which is one of the three pillars that really hits hard as far as with entrepreneurship. We help all businesses, even though our focus is for Black and minority-owned businesses, but we help all entrepreneurs, help them to grow, develop, and sustain. For me, the impact that I have as far as working with these entrepreneurs, especially in the education realm, my background has been finance. So I do a lot of the financial literacy. And that's something that all entrepreneurs really need, access to, is that knowledge around financial literacy. What they need to do as far as with their, from a credit standpoint, opportunities, and then we help connect them as far as with banks, with some of our partners from the financial industries that can help boost their business, help develop their business credit. So that's where I come in at. My passion is really around that financial literacy, that education, and just working with them through workshops. It does wonders for me. It's a true passion of mine.
This Week in Business is made possible by InnoPower.
Also this week in business, the Indianapolis International Airport is in line for another award, and you can help land it. It's up for Best Large Airport in the USA Today 10 Best Reader's Choice Awards. There is 1 day left to vote. It ends tomorrow. Competition to find the coolest thing made in Indiana is back. The event is for companies that make all kinds of things. Indiana Chamber of Commerce is accepting nominations through October 10th. It's free to enter. The winner emerges from a Hoosier Hysteria-style tournament bracket. Also in October, Small Business Administration will host its second annual Cyber Summit. Sessions are each Wednesday in the month. For links on all of this and information, go to BEOshow.com. If your event is coming up and you'd like us to mention it on our show, send us an email 3 weeks in advance, beo@wishtv.com. Coming up, celebrating the contributions of those with disabilities. Before that, though, budgeting with Shea in accounting and bookkeeping.
Radio and TV stations throughout Indiana are now hiring, and a statewide broadcasting career fair is coming up on Monday, October 2nd at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in downtown Indianapolis. Stations are filling jobs for journalists, sales, promotions, engineering, IT, and production. Make an impact that can be felt throughout your community. Your broadcast career starts here. Get details and register now at indianabroadcasters.org.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities, Accounting and Bookkeeping.
Time on Business, Equity, and Opportunities when we talk accounting and bookkeeping from one of our longest standing contributors, certainly somebody we know here well at the work we do. Shea is the CFO of Circle City Broadcasting, good partner to the show as well. Ty, good to see you. Let's start with a topic we've touched on maybe in the past, but always bears repeating, especially we head into this final quarter of the year and look into the next year. That's budgeting. Kind of as an overall start, what do you think of when you think of budgeting as it relates to accounting and bookkeeping?
Scott, great to catch up again. Yes, I think budgeting is critical, and you alluded to it. This is the time of year when businesses start looking forward, start looking ahead prospectively at what their next 12 months, 24 months could look like. It's also a good opportunity to kind of look back and see how your current fiscal year has gone, what contributed to upswings or downturns, and what is repeatable from this past year. And looking at, from a budgeting standpoint, looking at perhaps new opportunities that could be coming, and potentially some aspects that you're going to have to overcome in the coming 12 months that maybe, new challenges, whether it be market conditions or a customer that maybe has chosen a different path than going with you. And budgeting is a great opportunity to kind of take a snapshot and look at your business from all different aspects. And also to communicate with your department heads if you have those, or your different supervisors, about what's going on in their business and getting a comprehensive look at where you stand and where you will be in a certain period of time.
As you know, because we talked about it in the past, our viewers, potential business owners, entrepreneurs, the dollars and cents part of it may not be the natural thing that they're drawn to, but something they inevitably have to deal with. You've been doing this for a minute, even these many years into it. Do you still try to learn something from every past year's budget and then the actual numbers that came through to then inform how you move into the next year?
No question. I think if you pretend like you know everything about your business, you're fooling yourself, because every year is a different year. Every year there are different economic challenges or opportunities that present themselves, and so once you think you know everything about what you're doing, that's probably when you're about to get in trouble. And I think taking that opportunity, and again, I think communication is really important. If you have other people in your business that you rely upon, the more input, more information you can get every year as you sit down to do this, the better prepared you will be for the future.
How much room is there for optimism in budgeting? In other words, if we want to grow the business, do you have to sort of build in the room for that in the various ways?
That's a great question. I think that comes down to every individual operator and kind of what cloth they're cut from. A lot of times you'll find that finance folks, like myself, tend to be a little bit more conservative in their forecasting. Don't want to be, even if internally they're optimistic, you got to remember the end users of a potential budget, right? If you're presenting that budget to, say, your bank, how far out on that limb do you want to go? And if you don't make those numbers, then are you prepared to have those conversations? Whereas if perhaps if you're a little more conservative, make sure you hit those numbers or have valid reasons for not hitting them. Sometimes those conversations on the back end are a little easier.
In some ways, you're both the angel on the shoulder and the devil on the shoulder, just trying to help the entrepreneur who naturally has that sort of like aggressive spirit to maybe find the middle ground.
No question, and that is a lot of times what you find in those owners and entrepreneurs is they see blue sky ahead of them, and that's part of what makes them so effective. Is they are the optimists, and sometimes us finance folks have to be the bad guys to rein them in a little bit.
Nah, always the angel on our shoulder here in Business Equity and Opportunities. That's Ty Shea. We'll let you get back to our numbers, and we'll check in with you again soon.
Great. Thanks so much, Scott.
You can always see all of Ty's accounting and bookkeeping segments at BEOshow.com. Scanning the QR code gets you there during the broadcast. While you're there, sign up for our newsletter that we update every Tuesday, more often than that when necessary. And subscribe to our Business Equity and Opportunities podcast so you can listen to our contributors on your schedule. Later this hour, business is truly blooming in our industry focus. Before that, though, it's National Disability Employment Awareness Month. See how your business can contribute. It's on the other side of this break. Time on Business Equity and Opportunities to talk about actually running your business day to day. The National Disability Employment Awareness Month is recognized every year in October. We met with Brian Norton, Director of the Assistive Technology in Data Project for Easter Seals Crossroads. He hopes to help businesses recognize what workers with disabilities have to offer and the importance of having an inclusive work environment.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities, running your business day to day.
National Disability Employment Awareness Month is next month, and we're super excited because it really does open up the eyes of employers to maybe a talent pool that they haven't really looked into. Persons with disabilities, only 20%, according to statistics, are employed. And so there's a really large amount of folks who have disabilities, who have all the skills and qualifications that would be meaningful for an organization to take advantage of, and really bring a lot of value to what they do day in and day out. And so, you know, it really does, from not only, you know, employing folks, but also from, if you think about the diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts that everybody's trying to kind of bring these days, it does help bring a lot of value. It kind of brightens up the workplace, the workforce, making things available for folks. Yeah, I think there's the tendency to think that, you know, for me to be able to accommodate a particular person, it's going to be expensive, and it's going to be undue hardship. It's going to be expensive for me to be able to implement things to make it work for somebody. Statistics have shown that most accommodations are $500 or less, that it isn't all that expensive, and most of those accommodations that are made are $0, so the more expensive ones are $500, the less expensive ones don't cost anything at all, and a lot of the accommodations that are put into place for folks can be used by everybody. So there's universal design concepts where what's helpful for the person with disability is also helpful for just about everybody else as well. Just the ability to employ more folks, you know, brings more revenue and to the person's community, to our community, and so businesses are able to have higher retention rates. Making accommodations for folks allows them to stay in the workplace longer, and so not only are you creating opportunities for folks to remain employed, but also making sure that they can continue to do what they love to do. Oftentimes you'll find that folks with disabilities do make a really valuable employee. They're invested in what they do, they stay longer, they work hard, and they do the job. Employers are eligible, if you employ a person with a disability, for tax credits. And those tax credits kind of help offset some of the costs that you might incur with different accommodations that you would put in place, whether that's adding a ramp to be able to get in and out of a building, or the software or hardware that you might need to install on a computer system to help someone who may have difficulty accessing a traditional system. So there's lots of stories every day that we hear. We have an employment division here at Easter Seals Crossroads that helps people with disabilities identify what their wants are, what they want from a job and for employment, and work with the employer once they find a match. They will work with the employer to make sure things are going well for them, and also make sure things are going well with the employee. And with that, you know, there are lots of great stories about folks who have been able to find success in the workplace and be able to provide for their families and provide for themselves. Yeah, you know, a lot of the folks that are referred to us come through vocational rehabilitation. It's a state agency that helps folks with disabilities, whether you've been injured on the job and you're looking for new employment, or you have a lifelong disability. They refer to us, and we help them in that job accommodation process. And I think a lot of times, I think a lot of folks may think, I just can't do it. I don't have the tools, I don't have the technology. I'm a little nervous about making that jump into employment, and I think, you know, as we work with folks, you know, we can alleviate some of those fears and letting them know that, you know, we can help you along the way to make that stuff possible. It's a lot of positive feedback. I mean, think about the follow-along that goes with it. Again, we have an employment division. We have our folks in our assistive technology department as well, that as we place folks, we're providing assistance to those employers and to the employee to make sure things are going well. And a lot of times there's a lot of positive feedback about how things went, and they think this person's a valuable employee. They can't believe that they were doing things without them before. And so there's always a lot of positive feedback in that way. The regulatory compliance, there's the ADA out there, there's Section 503, lots of things about employing persons with disabilities. But I think there's a lot of, there's even a bigger moral or ethical component to that. It's just the right thing to do. Whether you have an employee who has a disability or may have an accident and develops a disability, it's important to be able to find a way to accommodate them and to make sure that you can retain them as a valuable asset to your company. Yeah, so I've been doing this for about 26 years, and what I love is to be able to see someone do something they wouldn't otherwise be able to do. And so when you're able to put a tool into someone's hand and then see them be able to do something for the first time, the excitement or the unbelief that they have that they're actually doing that particular task is quite satisfying.
For links and more information, head to BEOshow.com. The QR code hooks you right up with it. Coming up, our success story. First, though, plants matter. This is Business Equity and Opportunity.
Every business is unique, and every business has a target audience. Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble to reach a customer base that spans the globe. Pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. No matter the size of your business, put Circulus Digital Media to work for you and get results.
Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunity, the segment in which we focus on a specific industry. The Plant Matters Conference is coming up October 9th and 10th at Purdue University. It's a partnership with Teleflora for Kentucky, Tennessee, and Indiana. The event looks at the growing floral industry and the strategies and trends that it faces in the future. We talk with Paula Davis, owner of Blooms and Petals Florist and Events in Lafayette, Indiana.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
My name is Paula Davis, and I'm the master designer and owner of Blooms and Petals Flowers and Events here in Greater Lafayette. I've been doing it for over 22 years, and I love the floral industry. Currently, I serve as the district education president for Teleflora, and my responsibilities include putting education on for 3 states, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, and now parts of Virginia. Yes, the Plant Matters Conference will be taking place October 9th and 10th on Purdue campus, and I'm so excited about it. Purdue is one of the few of the Big Ten schools that still have a horticulture department that is very alive and well. So we'll be having some classes and hands-on, actually lab on how to design flowers and plants and to make an appealing gift. We're also going to be having some lectures put on by different professors, not just in the School of Horticulture, but from the School of Business as well. So we have education, hands-on, and networking opportunities for all florists. But here's the important thing. You don't have to be a florist to come. If you've always been interested in knowing about flowers, knowing about plants, knowing how to design them, we have the hands-on class that's available and lots of education. So all are welcome. It definitely impacted us on the manufacturing side. Many of the hard goods that we use to make arrangements to do the floral industry are specific. And so because of COVID restrictions, the production was down. It also, I know that I buy my flowers from overseas, working directly with grower farms to get the best product. And so that was impacted by transportation issues. So trying to get it trucked in and all of those things that any other business had to deal with, we had to deal with as well. Yes, it has definitely opened up, and that we're able to get the things we need, and the prices are coming down. For a while, because the demand was so high, supply was so low, the prices were really kind of ouchy there. But since things have stabilized with the transportation and the manufacturing, the prices are starting to stabilize as well. Well, a big trend is going to be plants, and that's why we're talking about plants in a way that is more holistic. Not just plants that we may send as a present, which is great, but plants is a part of our lifestyle. Plants is a way to keep our air clean. Plants is a way to help us stay in a meditative or more of a peaceful state to contribute to a more productive environment. There are studies that show having plants around do contribute to a more productive environment. So we're going to be talking about that, and we're going to be talking about the use of dried and preserved flowers. That is a trend. When I first got in the floral industry back 20 years ago, drieds were a really big thing, and then they kind of cycled out. Now we're seeing more interest in the drieds from younger generations that want to see that worked into their arrangements. So we're going to be tackling those too. And then how do we do business post-COVID? What does that look like? How do you talk to your customer? Who is your customer? Because all of things have changed, after COVID. So we're going to be helping, businesses, florist-related businesses, navigate these kind of issues. I believe in the floral industry. We have a great community at all levels. The floral shop is really the first of the entry level, but you have the farmers, you have people that grow the plants and all of it. And so we come together regularly to do conferences like these. We will have some manufacturing plants here, some people that grow plants, to talk about how we can do business better, how we can network more to improve our revenue and our bottom line. So the floral industry is unique in that we definitely support each other at all levels, great education opportunities, and we just want to see the industry grow. As a matter of fact, we're going to be offering scholarships to young people who would like to attend the conference. They can attend the 2-day conference for free. We do have several scholarships available, and even scholarships beyond that should they decide to pursue a career in the floral industry. We have 4-year scholarships available as well. So we really want to bring in new people and really grow the industry as well that way. Well, originally by trade, I did not start off as a florist. I started off as being a lawyer. And so the floral business appealed to my creative side. It also appealed to the fact that flowers start a conversation. Regardless as to what's going on, flowers can always start a conversation. And I wanted to be a part of that. There's power in flowers. They are part of our life. They are part of all of different cultures of the world. And I wanted to embrace that trade, learn about that trade, and really mentor other people to become a part of that trade. I consider it a highly professional career.
Industry Focus is made possible by Circulus Digital Media.
If you're interested in starting a business and you'd like to revisit any of our past segments, whether they're focusing on an industry or all of the rest, they live at BEOshow.com. Share those segments with family, friends, business partners through Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, email. Go to BEOshow.com, find the video. There are buttons right underneath to share however you want. When we return, our success story. It is a favorite segment here on Business Equity and Opportunities. Time to wrap up with our success story.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities Success Story. For his efforts in driving the strategic direction of the Indianapolis Airport Authority, the Executive Director, Mario Rodriguez, has been named the Indiana Chamber of Commerce Dynamic Leader of the Year. As part of Wish TV's celebration of Hispanic heritage, here's the encore success story of Mario Rodriguez.
You know, I'm a summation of all my experiences, and I grew up incredibly poor. My parents were immigrants to this country, and actually not even immigrants. They were political refugees that came from Cuba in the 1950s. It was a very difficult time in their lives, and I grew up incredibly poor. I worked very, very hard to educate myself. I worked all the way through college. I got lucky because I got grants to go to college and scholarships, and I was able to go to the University of Miami, and I graduated as an engineer. The first job I got was in aviation, and I still have a career in aviation, so I've been in aviation for over 33 years now. And I've been everywhere from Hong Kong to Kuwait. I lived in New Orleans for a long time. At a certain point, I was recruited to go to Long Beach, California, and I spent a long time there as the CEO. And after that, I was recruited over here to live with all of you, which I consider the nicest people on the face of the planet, and I've lived all over the place. This is a wonderful terminal. You could rebuild it 100 times over. There's no mystery or magic to it. The real mystery is people, and the real magic are people. Human capital is the most important thing we have. When I was coming up in the world, people helped me. And the least I could do is help other people. So for me, equity is really a moral imperative. It goes beyond doing the right thing. It is a moral imperative to me. And if you look at it from a business perspective, diversity is just a business necessity. People that don't see that are blind to the fact that it is an incredible business advantage to have a very, very diverse organization. As a matter of fact, right now, here, because of intentionality, 52% of this organization is either women or racial minorities. Of all the airlines that have flown in the United States, there's only been 2 that have had some diversity at the top. An example of our push and our focus and our intentionality when it comes to equity and diversity is Tracy Guerrero. She started as an intern in this organization. We reached out, made sure she came in, and guess what? We kept her.
The airport and the culture here has really cultivated that to grow people to be able to see themselves in positions of leadership. So I'm very proud to work for an organization that does that. I mean, just a prime example of what the airport does. We recently had an outreach event where we collaborate with different organizations around the community and just provide information about the different opportunities to do work at the airport. So that kind of creates that connection with the outside organizations and the work that we do here.
And we win awards over and over and over again. The awards really are a byproduct of respecting and making sure people feel respected and feel wanted here, and they in turn reciprocate to the customer, to the communities, to everybody else. And you know, we won the J.D. Power Award. That it basically says it all.
That's all the time we have for Business Equity and Opportunities this week. Our thanks to the storytellers who joined us. If you want information about any of the topics from the show, find it on our website, beoshow.com. Again, scan the QR code to get you right there. Look for past segments for the show of each of the 7 weekly topics. Watch them, download them, use the buttons underneath them to share them with friends and business partners. Listen to and subscribe to our Business Equity and Opportunities podcast. Sign up for our newsletter that's updated every Tuesday. And if you have questions or a success story we ought to hear and share, send us an email at beo@wishtv.com. We'll see you next week for more Business Equity and Opportunities. Till then, I'm Scott Sander. Have a great day.
Business, Equity, and Opportunities is made possible by Indiana Economic Development Corporation, InnoPower, Bose McKinney & Evans, Gemco, Fifth Third Bank, and IU Indianapolis.